Chapter 316. The Water Temple. When the whole large army reached the lake, after a march of many days, they camped along the wide-stretched shores of the lake, in which the island was located in the centre, on which the temple of the water god was built. Only after a 3-day rest did Fungar Helen give detailed instructions for the attack on this, by nature, so extremely well fortified temple and village. At first, Fungar wanted to surround the entire lake, which was many miles in circumference, with a single line of warriors. However, he soon came up against invincible terrain difficulties that made his plan completely impracticable. For the lake was bordered in some places with widely stretched, rugged stone walls. In some places, it found its end in vast swamps and marshes. Since this plan had to be necessarily abandoned, another was devised whereby Fungar Helen, in the course of 6 weeks, had 20,000 barges built, of which each could comfortably carry 100 men. The barges were made from the finest cedar trees, of which every trunk was 12 klafter long, so that each barge had the same length and a width of 6 klafter. When these barges were completed, including the necessary oars, railings, benches, iron stoves, and food containers, and other small magazines for all kinds of war equipment, they were manned and commanded to encircle the whole island and to take strict care that no one leaves the island or come near it. Should, however, the besiegers be asked by the beleaguered islanders what this means, then they should quite flatly proclaim the will of the general and say, "If you unconditionally submit yourselves to the will of the general, you will become his friends. But on the contrary, you are his greatest enemies, who will be destroyed with the sword." Provided with such instructions, the men on the barges sailed to the rather distant island and besieged it with the barges entirely, so that no one could get on or off the island. But the siege had not yet lasted a day when the priests found out what was going on. So they immediately sent a deputation to the besiegers and asked them to carry out the will of the great Fungar Helen immediately, for otherwise the water god could easily become very angry. When the besiegers heard this from the deputation, they were very pleased, and immediately 10,000 men sailed to the island and went on shore. But when they came to the temple site, they found no trace of a temple, but only very nice country houses everywhere, in which ordinary country people lived. When the 10,000 realized this by painstakingly searching the whole island, they said, "What should we do now? Here is nothing to destroy. Therefore let us return now and inform the general about everything." Said and done. And when Fungar learned this, he was highly astonished and did not know what he should do. henceforth more.